Good evening, people. Welcome back to another stream. And I think it's only right we start off with a little bit of a chuckle, shouldn't we? We have a little bit of a laugh at Liverpool. I know we were held to the same situation last year in the Champions League, but it's a new year, new problem. We haven't faced Real Madrid yet. Liverpool in the mud. It's always nice to see our old rivals, our old foes. They're in the history books now. You know, we don't really care about them anymore, but it is nice to see them get a bit of a thumping at Anfield. The first time they've ever conceded 5 goals at home in Europe, and by God, it was hilarious watching them go 2-0 up and then crumble to 5-2, and the fashion that some of the goals went in as well. I tell you what, it was a sight to behold. You know, the shock on the faces of the Scousers. Before we get into City, people, make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Get in your laughing emojis while we're on Liverpool for a second. We're going to move it on to City of the Champions League, maybe a little bit about Forest. We'll have a general conversation, see what all of your thoughts are, people. Get in your thoughts on everything, but do keep smashing the likes. That's the main thing. Gets more people in here, gets us closer to 6,000 subs. Anyways, Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 5. Cinco, as they say in Spanish. Vamos, as they say in Spanish. 5-2 para Real Madrid.
Me
hablo un poco español. That's about it.
I need a translator.
Do Spanish for the leaving, was it?
I failed. As you can see. Real Madrid have that aura about them. Real Madrid, man. Real Madrid, we have to say it in all seriousness. Keep them the fuck away from us. Keep them away from us. I don't want to see Real Madrid, yeah? In all seriousness, I know we can do all this worst City. We can beat anybody, and I believe we can on our day. But if there's anybody I want to avoid, keep those fuckers away from us. They are cold. They are ice fucking cold. Anyways, lads. 5-2 para Real Madrid. Any thoughts?
Yeah, that is Liverpool's heaviest home defeat, I'm pretty sure, since we tonked them a few years ago. They were really bad. That Joe Gomez turns up for one game a season, and it's always against City. He's shit. He is one of the worst footballers I've ever seen in my life. In my life, he is shit. Yeah, but my brother's a Liverpool fan. Yeah, I watched the last 5 minutes of him. I don't know. I still think we might have a chance. I laughed in that poor guy's face, man. He's a hopeless optimist. Is that the word?
If it went 5-3, I'd have said they have a bit of a chance. But 5-2, and you're going to the Lions' Den. You're going to the King of the Castle. You're going to the King's Castle in the Bernabeu. Like, you don't want to go to the Bernabeu already in a deficit, because they will eat you alive. I wouldn't be surprised. The thing with Real Madrid is, man, they're so fucking relentless. They don't just take a lead and then say, all right, we'll chill out, take our lead back to the Bernabeu and take it from there. They're like, nah. We want to embarrass this lot. We want to absolutely, and they did embarrass them. They really embarrassed Liverpool tonight. Liverpool have taken some bad defeats this season, but to go 2-0 up in your own patch and then be torn apart, picked apart by Real Madrid like that, it's embarrassing. Not because it's Real Madrid, but just because you're meant to be Liverpool in, you know, the Anfield aura. And when they were 2-0 up, I was saying, you know what, this Anfield, you know, European nights thing is real. I thought they had shocked Real Madrid, you know, the system of Real Madrid, and Madrid had fallen victim to the Anfield aura, but no. Madrid stayed ice cold and said, fuck this. Luka Modric, Benzema, Vinicius, man. If there's one player in world football I would consider playing ahead of Jack Grealish, it's Vinicius Jr.
No, Neymar, no.
Nah, listen, I did a video on Neymar earlier on. Go back and check it, people. You can see my thoughts on Neymar. Joe, you tell me. I assume you watched that game. Go on.
I just find it funny, first and foremost, how Revel's brother is a hopeless optimist and Revel is the complete opposite. Like,
yeah, listen. Yeah, I am the opposite end of the spectrum to that poor fella, right? It's some spectrum, but we are on the opposite end of the spectrum. He sat there like, oh, yeah, I think we can. But we went there 4-3 up and people were saying advantage Madrid. Do you know how unbelievable that is?
They're just the kings. They're the kings in the competition. Like I said, European football is washed, and I still kind of agree that the Premier League is just the gap is getting bigger and bigger. But Real Madrid in the Champions League, it doesn't matter what you do. Like, at what point do you just kind of turn around and go, do we give them the trophy now, or do you give them the trophy in a few months, you know, down the line at the end of the season, when they're probably going to win it, because this is their competition. They always find a way. They're doing what they did last year. They're going 1-0, 2-0 down in, the first leg or in the first half and then going, let's make it hard for ourselves. Let's go down and come back. It makes it feel better. They're just challenging themselves at this point. Just side quests, isn't it? They're just putting extra side steps on the road to the final. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't want to face them, but, I mean, as much as I don't want to face them, the reality is there's a very high chance that if we were to go on and even get to the final, there's a very high chance that we will have to face them at some point because they are just different gravy in this competition. They've mastered the art of not even necessarily playing well, but still being able to blow teams away, still being able to put teams away and just take their chances. And that is something that it's scary because they are so consistent in this competition that it's just so difficult to see past them always being one of the names up for the competition. You can look at their squads over the years and say that they're not even, they're never really odds-on favourites, at least in the bookies over here. But they always, you can never, ever, ever, ever count Real Madrid out. You never count Real Madrid out. They are genuinely inevitable. Like, it's terrifying. I don't like it. I don't want to play them.
Do you want to know what price they are after that game? After that game, they are 6-1 to win the competition, right? Man City are still favourites 15-8.
Man, bookies need to go fuck themselves. Every single year they put us as favourites to win this competition. Like,
all the time.
You can't make us the hotshot favourites every year when we consistently let ourselves down. I mean, Ilias says here you're getting knocked out by Leipzig. I assume Ilias is a Liverpool fan and he's hurting a little bit right now. And I feel your pain a little bit, Ilias. I've been there with Real Madrid. It's not a nice feeling, but we'll get on to Leipzig. And I agree, we could potentially be knocked out by Leipzig. And then Beyond Belief here has the confidence. He says, we have knocked out Real Madrid before. We can do it again. So there you go. The thing is, with Real Madrid in the Champions League, Joe's right. They're inevitable. They're absolutely inevitable. And I say in a weird world, right? Say you throw Manchester City into La Liga. Some weird world happens where we have to play in La Liga. We beat them twice in the season, I believe. But in the Champions League, they're a different dog. They're like 8 points behind Barcelona in the La Liga right now. This Barcelona team, they're good, but they're no great shape, They're not one of the great Barcelona teams. So to be 8 points behind them is a bit mad. But then in the Champions League, they just turn into an absolute Rottweiler. They tear teams apart. They eat you alive. They suffocate you with pace and precision and clinicality. That's the main thing. Liverpool had the chances to kill the game off as well at times, didn't they? At 2-0 up. And even when they, 2-1, 2-2, they still created loads of chances. But the thing is with Real Madrid, man, you give them a sniff, they're going to score. They're going to punish you if you allow them to have a sniff. And it's kind of hard to stop them getting a sniff. They seem to be pretty good at making the chances. I mean, did you see that goal that Benzema scored where Modric burst through the midfield? And they tried to pull him down, and he still gives a beautiful ball to Vinicius, who gives a beautiful ball to Benzema, who shows beautiful composure to not shoot first time on his right, take it onto his left, and stick in the top bins. What can you do? Like, how do you stop that? That's where I am with it, man. The Champions League, mad competition. And listen, there's no point even talking about us playing Real Madrid just yet because we have the small matter of Leipzig. And the thing is with Leipzig, we'll get onto it properly, but they're no pushovers either. They were in the same group as Real Madrid. So they qualified through the same group as Real Madrid. They have Nkunku, Werner, Andre Silva. They have a decent midfield. Like, this is a good Leipzig team. And having the way we've played in recent weeks, they won't be fearing Manchester City, especially in Germany. So expect a tough game in Germany tomorrow night. But we'll get on to that good and properly. 40 in the building. Make sure you smash the likes if you haven't done so already. The likes really do help. Smash that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new. But we may as well touch very quickly on Forest. Obviously, I did a review myself, but I know Joe wants to talk about it a little bit. For those of you who are here regularly, Joe has very strong feelings about Kevin De Bruyne. If he plays well, he praises him a bit. If he plays badly, Joe's going to let you know. So, Joe, let us know.
I won't go too far in on him because at the end of the day, I am genuinely getting sick of hearing myself say the same things over again. So I'm just going to cool off a little bit. It wasn't great. Obviously, initially I was absolutely fuming. I just genuinely couldn't believe it. But I do truly believe if we play like that for most games, we're going to be all right. That was a freak where we just cannot stick the ball in the back of the net to save our lives. That's a freak incident. How many times has Haaland genuinely missed from 6 yards an open goal? How many times is he going to do that for the rest of the season? Like, it's a freak. I do genuinely believe we created so many chances that on a different day we're fine. on a different day we are totally fine. We win that game, 3 points. The game's done. It was just a complete freak. So I'm not too annoyed. I'm more annoyed with the fact that Villa couldn't hold on against Arsenal. That was one that makes it feel even worse because we gonna beat Arsenal in the Emirates. You're thinking, yes, great result. Got to kick on from here and really put the pressure on, because we had the chance to remain top of the league. And within a couple of days of us being top of the league, we're second again because we're going to drop points in our very next game and Arsenal capitalise. It's backwards and forwards. It's setting up nicely for a title race because, that's Arsenal's first good result in a while. We're still inconsistent. We're still on that dreaded run of only 3 wins in the league in a row, which is genuinely horrific, at least by the standards that we'd set over the last, 4 or 5 years. So I'm not too annoyed by it. Obviously, there was plenty of chances. We just didn't take them. That's the main takeaway is we haven't had one of those games in a long time. I feel like it was almost coming.
Forest? With the way it played out against Forest?
Yeah, we haven't had a game in a long time where we've genuinely had one of those typical City performances where we've gone and we've peppered them and we've created loads of chances, but we just haven't taken them. It feels like it's been coming. It's been a while since we had one.
It has. I'm willing to put it down as a blip. It is definitely frustrating because of the Villa result. But look, it is what it is. I don't want to focus too much on the Forest game here because I think the overall consensus I'm getting off the chat here as I'm reading it is the City fans don't seem too worried about it. Yes, it's disappointing to drop 2 points, but it was one of those days. And I think we're all in agreement that on another day, we win that game 5-6-0. We created enough chances to beat them 2 and 3 times over. So it kind of just is what it is, really. Listen, we may as well get on to the main topic of this, and that, of course, is Champions League. The Champions League is back. And another opportunity for us to maybe potentially possibly get our hands on the big ears like myself. Could we win the big competition that has eluded us for so many years now? So many heartbreaks in the Champions League. We had Lyon, we had Monaco, we had Liverpool, we had Tottenham, we had Chelsea, we had Real Madrid. That's 6. Am I missing the big one there? I don't think so. I think I've got all the big ones under Pep anyway. Yeah, I got all 6 under Pep. Heartbreak. Many of those fixtures, if not all of them, we should have won. Maybe bar the Liverpool one where we kind of were beaten. I think we were the better team in every single one of those games, or at least on paper we should have won. Is this our year, lads? Before we talk about Leipzig, let's say it. Let's just have a yes or a no, a good conversation. Is this Manchester City's year? Joe, stick a poll in the chat, a yes or a no. Is this the year City win the Champions League? Get involved, people. Keep smashing the likes. 55 in the building. We're doing great. Keep smashing the likes and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Before we talk about Leipzig, I want to talk about, can City actually win the competition? It's optimistic thinking. It's progressive thinking, but we got to do it. We brought in Haaland for this competition. We did. We brought in Haaland to be the difference in those little moments in the Champions League that will define whether you win it. We brought in Guardiola with one of the main objectives, if not the main objective, to win the Champions League. We have to have this competition. Can Manchester City? We have to have this conversation. Can Manchester City win the Champions League this year? We've had a look at Liverpool. They look on the way out. Real Madrid look cold as fuck. Napoli look pretty fucking cold. There's some good teams there. What do we think?
No.
Just a flat out no.
Just a flat out no. Everybody could have guessed the answer. Everybody here could have guessed that.
Look, yeah, I was for a while. Yeah, I was like, do you remember when we were kind of banging them in the second season? I was like, this shit is like West Ham through Bournemouth and shit. I was like, this looks good. This looks good. This could be the year where we're gelling with a striker. Oh, I don't know what Joe's answer is going to be. I'm saying, but again, I'm never confident. So take this with a grain of salt, boys. But I don't think we have it. Like, you know what I mean? We haven't been consistent enough for the whole thing, and I know we haven't seen it. We haven't seen us in this last stage of the Champions League with this core, with this team, with a striker. But I don't know, man. I just don't know. I'm not feeling it, but that's not to say I'm gonna rule anything out, I suppose. But I'm not hopeful. I'm not hopeful. But keep the way I see it, keep expectations low, and you'll never be disappointed.
All right, this guy is the most miserable motherfucker ever. Joe, shed some knowledge.
No, I have none.
He never has any confidence or anything. So I will say, yes, we can. We can. You have to believe. You have to believe. You have to believe that we can. You have to believe that we will go on and do this. We've had various excuses of, no VAR and offsides and disallowed goals and handballs and no striker. There is no excuse this year. We have, again, we're not playing well, but we have all the pieces. We have what we need. We have what people have said that we've been missing. We have that. We can win this. Will we? Obviously, time will tell. I don't really know. I don't think the consistency plays too much of a part, because I think we always say, and I think us three will all agree on this, is we always think the Premier League is harder to win because you need to be consistent over 38 games. You're not going to win it because of luck, and you're not going to lose it because of bad luck. With the Champions League, it's the complete opposite. Yes, you need to be good, but you can win it. You can win games and progress through being lucky, and you can be knocked out by being unlucky. That is the difference between the Premier League and the Champions League. And in my mind, a bit of luck, we win it. Genuinely, a bit of luck, we win it. It doesn't matter how consistent we are. We could still be inconsistent to the end of the season. If we get a little bit of luck in this competition, we can go on and win it. If we just take that opportunity.
The thing with the Champions League is, like, the best team in Europe doesn't always win the Champions League. In fact, more often than not, the best team in Europe does not win the Champions League. I mean, in a scenario that is a possible way of winning the Champions League, you could draw 0-0 in the first leg of every round and win 1-0 in the second leg of every round. You're in the final. You win the final 1-0. Does that make you a class team, deserved European dogs, kings of Europe? No, it doesn't. But you've won the competition, so no one's really going to question it too much, are they? That's the way. The thing is, you need a huge amount of luck in the Champions League. Like, we could scrape our way past Leipzig, then draw Real Madrid and get fucked up by them. Do you know what I mean? When the reality is, we'd like to beat Leipzig with a bit of comfort and draw, I don't know, Eintracht Frankfurt or someone who you feel you've got a good. Well, what, they're 1-0 down in the tie, aren't they? 2-0. Well, like, I'm saying, in an ideal world, you draw someone like them, or AC Milan, or not Tottenham at all costs. But you know what I'm getting at here, people. You need a lot of luck in the Champions League. Like Chelsea's route, Liverpool's route to the final last year was, they didn't have many great teams to play until they got to Real Madrid in the final. They had Villarreal, did they have Porto? I mean, it wasn't the toughest of routes, and they got that bit of luck you needed to get that, into that stage of the competition. And then once you're in that stage of the competition, then you can start to go, right, we have to turn it up and get to the level that we need to play at. But Joe's right. Worst teams, worst squads have won the Champions League than this City squad we have right now. This City squad we have right now on paper is absolutely outrageous. Let's call a spade a spade. It's absolutely outrageous when you look at the names we have in our squad and the pedigree we have in our squad. I think it's well within the question to suggest that we can win the Champions League. I wouldn't go as far as to say what the bookies are saying, that we're favourites at whatever odds you said it was. I would put Real Madrid down as favourites purely for the fact that they're the current Champions League winners. It's their competition, and they've just blown Liverpool away 5-2 in their own patch. So I put Real Madrid down as favourites, but I can understand why people would say that we're second favourites, because we should be. That pressure should be on Manchester City. We want to have that pressure. We want to be in the situations. That's why we spent the money we have, why we brought the manager in that we did, why we brought the players in that we did, because we want to be in this situation. We want to be challenging and in the mix for Europe's biggest honour. So I think we should revel in it. We should thrive in it, but we haven't done so to date. And that's obviously the big concern for us as City fans, is that we're capable of completely capitulating at any stage of this competition. Doesn't matter if we're playing against a European giant or a European newcomer or just a regular, one of those teams that's always there but doesn't do too well. We can lose to anybody in this competition. We've done it. Monaco, Lyon, Tottenham, teams that are no European beasts have knocked us out. That's the worrying part for Manchester City, and that's the worrying part for tomorrow's game. I mean, we may as well move it on a bit now to the Leipzig game tomorrow, because that's the main thing. There's a bit of news from press conferences and a bit of an inclination as to who's going to start in some positions, but it's not going to be an easy game. I said they have a pretty frightening front three of Nkunku, Werner, and Andre Silva, and I saw Dano in the chat. What was it he said? Where is it? Dano, you cheeky bastard. Something about Werner not being that good. And I'm telling you, Dano, you haven't watched Werner this season. Werner's cooking. He's cooking for Leipzig. I'm telling you, he's cooking for Leipzig. He was good for them in the group stages with Celtic, Real Madrid, and Shakhtar. This was a Shakhtar team that had Mudryk. So this guy, they're no pushovers, and they'll fancy themselves in Germany. But listen, I'll get into these quotes and these pieces of news about tomorrow's game, and then we'll have a chat about how we feel about it. Obviously, the big one being there is no Stones, Laporte, or Kevin De Bruyne in the travelling squad to Leipzig today. That is a massive, massive blow. Obviously, no De Bruyne speaks for itself. You're losing out on your chief chance creator. No, Laporte and Stones are two best ball-playing centre-halves. Neither of them are available. We kind of expected Stones to not be available, but Laporte's a bit of a shock to me. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Our build-up play is going to suffer now that we don't have De Bruyne or Laporte, two people I would have expected to start, and two great ball players. So I'm expecting, like I said, a tough game. And for me, I'd take a draw. Call me crazy, but the way I look at this season's Champions League is fuck all this shit where we're Manchester City, we stick to the same style of football we always do and try to beat everybody that's in front of us regardless of how they play or what kind of a team they are. Be strategic. Analyze each game for what it is and say, right, just get through the first leg against Leipzig without losing, bring them to the Etihad and beat them. Then next round, say you do draw Frankfurt or Napoli and you play away first. Right, go out to Naples to not lose, take them to the Etihad, and there's your final beat them. Approach each individual game with its strategy, tailor-made for that game. Fuck all this, tiki-taka, progressive city football, whatever way we've done it for years now. Be strategic to win the competition. That's the way I look at it. Lads, chime in.
Me first? Am I up
You
first?
go for it. Go on, I'll let you.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit concerned with the players that aren't available. I knew Stones wasn't going to be available. The man's made of glass, cheese, whatever you want to say he's made out of. He is. I wasn't expecting him to be back. The whole illness thing, I know you've got a point on that, Revel, so I kind of skirt around that one. I'll let you do your little conspiracy theories. But I can't lie, I'm not really looking forward to it because, it's obviously going to be one of two things. We're either going to stick Bernardo Silva at left back again and do that whole experiment, which after Nottingham Forest and after the first half against Arsenal, I don't really want to see that. I really don't want to see Bernardo Silva at left back too much more this season. It's not great, but then the only other alternative is genuinely Manuel Akanji, who, yes, has been good at the start of the season. He's tailed off. He's completely tailed off. And although it's a 50-50 for me, because I look at it one way of he'll know the opponent. He knows Leipzig. He's come from the Bundesliga. He knows how they play. He knows who they are. He knows the German league. Same thing with Haaland. He knows the German league. But then the German league also knows him, so they'll know how to exploit Akanji possibly as well. So it's a 50-50. I don't know. I have a feeling that Pep would go for Akanji just for the fact that we're away from home. I think I want the more defensive solidity because, like you said, you take a draw. You don't want to draw. You always want to win, but you take a draw away from home. Make it so that you're not having to blow them out the water in the second leg at home. Even though we would be capable, it's not nice. I'd take a draw, but I'm still looking for a win. But I can't lie. It's not scared me. It's just kind of knocked me a little bit because it's come out of nowhere. It's totally out of the blue. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Listen, there's 71 people in the building and we're only on 45 likes. Come on, lads. Smash the like button if you haven't done so already. It's free to do and it really helps the channel. Just smash that thumbs up button. Get the numbers up and subscribe if you're new. But look, people are saying in the chat here, go with a back five. They take a draw. 1-1 draw, take them to home, says Zetinus. That's exactly what I'm saying, man. I obviously played to win, but I think this idea of in the Champions League, with the way we've approached it every year is, away game, go for the win. Home game, go for the win. We're Manchester City, let's flex our muscles, let's flex our players. That's all great. And in an ideal world, that works, and it's nice and romantic, and you win the Champions League, deserved winners, and everyone says they were fantastic, pats in the back all around, all that stuff there. But unfortunately, that's not worked, and it's time for me anyway, for us to just be strategic. Be strategic. Don't overdo it tomorrow. Don't take too many risks tomorrow because they have the strikers and the players that can exploit. I assume Nkunku's available, Joe. Do you know?
Yeah. Yeah, he's not a Chelsea player yet. I'm just sat here. Sorry, I'm just sat here. I'm almost half laughing. Me and Revel have just made the same expression when you said back five. We don't have the facilities for a back five.
I'm not saying play a back five. I'm saying.
No, I know you're not.
I know you're not.
My overall want tomorrow, above anything, whatever about scoring goals and finishing chances that we didn't do against Forest, that's one thing. My overall priority tomorrow is to be defensively fucking solid. massive display defensively. Every attack they throw at us, defend it, defend it, defend it. Break their souls. So when they do come to the Etihad and we have to beat them or we want to punish them, they feel like we're impenetrable. You can't get through us. That's the main thing. We don't want them taking a lead to the Etihad and let them do a typical German thing and sit back and be a massive wall that's extremely hard to break down. How many times have we played against a massive wall that we can't break down? Tottenham, United, every other bastard in the Premier League, the blueprint's there. You set up a massive low block, and you hit us in the counter. Defensively sound tomorrow night. That's all I want. I think if we're defensively sound, it'll frustrate them, and they'll know towards the end of the game that they need to take a win to the Etihad. I think for them to go through, they'll need to take a win to the Etihad. So they'll start to push more players forward towards the end of the game if they're not ahead, and that leaves space for us in behind then. But for me, the main thing is do not leak goals. No defensive mistakes. Like we saw the mistakes we made against Forest for that one goal. 3 of our defenders could have done better for that Forest goal. There's going to be more chances like that, identical to that Leipzig will create. We can't crumble the way we did. We will get fucked up. That's the nature of this competition. Mistakes cost you big time. It's not a case of, oh, well, maybe someone will take points off Leipzig next week and do us a favor. This is knockout football. If you fuck yourself up in the first game to the point where you can't get it back in the second game, it's curtains. Another year of embarrassment.
Yeah, that's all well and good. That's your point. We understand that. We're still just gobsmacked to the fact someone has genuinely suggested a 5-back when we don't have a left-footed full-back in the squad.
You know what, right? Before we go on, before we pick that apart, I just want to say, if he plays a 5-back tomorrow, you're going to hear the same shit about overthinking. And we have man in this comment saying, we have people in this comment saying he should play a 5-back, right? Joe's about to say, we've no left-footed full-back. Like,
unless you want to see Sergio Gomez play as a left wing back in the Champions League, do not suggest a 5 to me. We don't have the facilities. And also, again, the whole overthinking point comes back. We've just, at the start of the stream, we had, as long as we don't overthink it, we can win this. As long as Pep doesn't overthink the tactics, we can win this. The very next segment, we should play a 5-back that we haven't played in a couple of years. It's baffling.
I didn't play a 5-back. I didn't say play.
We're not saying you. We're not saying you are.
But
I'm being defensively sound. Don't fucking play Bernardo Silva left back. Put Nathan Ake there. Put Diaz, Akanji, and Walker, and just let them be pillars. Let them stand there.
We know that.
I don't need overlapping progressive full backs for the whole 90 minutes. Do your defensive fundamentals first, and whatever happens after that, we know.
We're just discussing.
We're discussing
a
comment.
On the guy in the chat saying 5-back.
Because you read it out. You read it out, and it just caught both of our attention.
Man, it's one guy in the chat, man. He's offering ideas. We want ideas. This is a creative space.
We want ideas. We don't want to get knocked out. We don't mean it in a bad way. Generally, we don't mean it in a bad way. But I do agree. I completely agree with Murray's statement. I agree completely, right? Akanji, as stinky as he's been for a while, right? Get Diaz, Ake, Akanji, Walker, set back 4. Just do it. It's a very defensive, on paper, very defensively sound back 4. Something that we do need. Because let's be fair, their plan is hit us on the counter. Look at their front 3. If Nkunku starts, he's like, they're so fast. Like, they're bullets. I don't want Bernardo Silva being ran up by Nkunku. I don't. Like, Nkunku is a dog, man. He's so good. Like, Werner, I'd be comfortable with Walker having. I'm not comfortable with Bernardo Silva on Nkunku at all. Like, Saka was good against us, but I mean, he was going up against Bernardo Silva. The one time he's gone up against Nathan Ake at left back, he was completely pocketed. I want Ake in there. I do. That, and now we have a man lost in the midfield with De Bruyne not being here. You need Bernardo on that midfield, which is why. And look, Ake was on the press conference as well, if I'm not mistaken. So he'll be playing. He will start. You could probably predict the lineup, to be honest. You probably could predict the lineup. And I know that's a dangerous thing to say with Pep Guardiola, but I'd say good.
Yeah, whenever you think you
can't, man.
You usually
this competition, you haven't a hope in hell of predicting this fucker's lineup in the competition.
I'll predict it right now.
You don't know. You could see this guy play fucking Sergio Gomez up top to catch them out, instead of Haaland sitting on the bench. You just don't know. You just don't know. Who's playing in place of De Bruyne with him being sick? I would imagine it'll be a Bernardo Gundo midfield. I don't think Foden's ready to play in the midfield in the Champions League. He's not fit enough yet either. Listen, 80 in the building. 80 in the building. That's big. Smash the likes, people. Do smash the thumbs up button. It's free to do. And subscribe if you're new. We're 4 subs off 5.7k. So if you're new around here, subscribe and get us to 5.7k. All I want is a back four. It will be a back four, but whether it'll be a flat back four or a back three and an inverting full back is the question. For me, like I said, I'm really cautious about the Champions League this year. I think we have to handle the Champions League really delicately. Don't go for the tunnel vision City approach of out to beat everyone in every single game. Don't go for that tunnel vision approach. Handle it delicately. Every single fixture, go, right, we're playing away this time in Leipzig. Let's set up to not concede a load of goals and give ourselves a mountain to climb in the Etihad. That's just the way I want it. Handle the whole competition really, really carefully. Because you can't rely on anybody else. It's up to you. You fuck it up once, you fucked the whole thing. That's my issue with the Champions League, and we've been stung by that too many times. D1 says I would go with a double pivot of Rodri and Phillips to stop the counter. I mean, Phillips ain't ready for that, man. Phillips ain't ready. Bree says I don't mind a draw in this game and take it to the home leg, so I go for a more defensive 4-5-1. That's an interesting one. What do you think of that?
Oh,
no, just play normal.
Just play
set up normally. Set up normally.
Set up normally.
Mad baldy.
If we
normally, or I will fall apart.
If we go out and play a 5, or if we go out and play a 4-5-1 or a 4-4-2, and we lose, what happens? Oh, Pep's overthought it again. Pep's overthought it. He's done something stupid with his tactics. He's put this person in this position and this person in this position. He's fiddled around with the tactics. He's fucked it. That's all you get with this. I know these are just ideas, and I'm not necessarily saying they won't happen, because again, it's Pep. He could do anything. But that's where the whole overthinking label comes from, in the Champions League especially, is when he messes around with the tactics and he does something that doesn't work. So would I really be risking this in an away leg of the Champions League, risking what has got us to this point so far this season? No, I wouldn't.
I would be open to the double pivot in the last 15 minutes if we're winning the game 1-0 or 2-1. That's what I would do. If you just to really close up the doors at the back, that's the way I do it. But when I say defensively sound, I don't mean 5 at the back. I don't mean double pivot from the off. I don't mean, create your own version of a low block or a wall. I just mean maybe Pep, instead of having the inverting fullback or an overlapping fullback, if he was thinking of doing that, just have a flat back 4. Flat back 4, let Rodri push forward a little bit, let Bernardo and Gundo be the chief chance creators, tell the wingers to hold the width, and it looks like it's Mahrez on the right, I would assume, because Mahrez has been given quotes tonight. Mahrez at the press conference, didn't he? So,
sure. He
did. Riyad Mahrez says, speaking about the UCL, he says, we are a team built for these special moments. We have to win this trophy. That everyone wants. We are players that can make the difference at key moments, and I am one of them. So Mahrez is even admitting that there's massive pressure on Manchester City to go far in this competition. Super chat. We haven't had one of them in a while from Osama. Big up Osama with the Canadian dollar CA5. I think that's what it is. Thank you for the super chat. He says Leipzig will do a low block with Nkunku leading counters. Serious threat there with speed. I'm going for 2-1 City, Alvarez and Mahrez to score. The first thing that stands out to me there is your goal scorers, or at least the second one. Mahrez is a Champions League machine. Even when he's off form in the league, he's a Champions League machine. And you're also spot on. I can tell Osama has been watching Leipzig because that's the way they play. And Revel alluded to it. A low block, really fast wingers who'll hit us in the counter, and that's how we've been punished. Every single game that we have suffered and dropped points in, it's because of a low block with really fast wingers. Rashford, Kulusevski, Kane and Son and these kind of players, they punish us. For years they do that because we can't handle a team that absorbs our pressure and then hits us really quick on the counter. That's why I'm saying flat back forward to maybe be a bit more cautious with that counter attack off the back of a low block. Big up Osama for the super chat. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate that. And big up Mad Hatter. Mad Hatter's getting some love in the chat, man. Mad Hatter's a loyal 1894 subscriber. He's in all the chats, all the comments, always showing love. If you want to be like Mad Hatter, leave a quick like on the stream. It's free to do. Like I said, the likes really go a long way. And we're 4 subs still off 5.7k. So help us on the road to that. But listen, any more thoughts? It's obviously a massive game. In the attack, like I said, no De Bruyne. Midfield, it's going to be Rodri sitting deep. Who do we think the two 8s are? Gundo and Bernardo, you'd imagine. Is there any possibility? Any possibility for Foden? Maybe a Grealish?
Keep Grealish on the left, man. He's cooking. That guy's cooking. Keep him exactly where he is at all times. Gundogan will play. Let's be fair, we know that. He's been playing pretty much every game at this point, regardless. Bernardo, he has to be in there. Like, they've got energetic midfielders. If I'm not wrong, they still have Konrad Laimer. I know he's going to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, him to do, yeah.
Yeah, they still have Konrad Laimer. They have... fuck, I'm not gonna act like I just know they just have some spark plugs in that midfield, man. Forsberg as well can pick a pass. They're just good. Danny Olmo is fucking electric. Like, you need men who are gonna cover 2 or 3 people at one time. That's why Bernardo's so crucial.
Oh, listen, it didn't even cross my mind here for a second. They've got fucking Vardiol, yeah. So even going forward, we're gonna have to be ace. You know, this guy's also a bit of a beast, and he's the kind of guy. You know, by the way, Vardiol chats. He's one of these. Yeah, listen, Rebel knows. I was watching The Last Dance earlier, the Michael Jordan documentary. You know the way Michael Jordan would regularly talk about how, depending who he's playing against, opposition players, he wants to challenge himself against those players to prove that he's better than them and that he's at that level. Vardiol chats like that. He's the kind of guy who'll go, I'm playing against Haaland, yeah? I'm going to pocket him. I'm going to show you that I can pocket Erling Haaland. I've seen his interviews. Vardiol he backs himself. He's a bit of a mouth.
You have to respect it, man. You have to respect it.
Yeah.
You know, I have a point though. Yeah, you spurred it back in my head there, right? Because he's actually been relatively like unspoken about now at the minute. Haaland knows Bundesliga defensive, man. Haaland cooked in that Bundesliga. That is like the only thing I'm looking at. This is I see Vardiol. I don't see Willie Orban. I don't think he plays. They have pace in that back line. He can still exploit it. If there's one man I trust to break down that and get in behind and break down a high line, it's Erling Haaland. Like, by God. They won't. I don't even have to set up in a low block because Leipzig play that weird kind of. Every Red Bull team plays that weird kind of gegenpress football where you can exploit in behind. So looking at that, I mean, I'm not saying Haaland should be licking his lips by any means, but by God, he has to have some level of confidence. Like, you're not going up against a world class defense. I don't care. You're not going up against a world class defense there.
But you're going up against a bit of a beast in Vardiol. And you know his mentality. He's going to go out there with the idea of, I'm playing against Haaland. I'm going to pocket Haaland. But you're right, Haaland does know the Bundesliga. There's so many narratives going into this game. I mean, going forward, Joe, what do you want to see?
Goals.
Oh, yeah. Taking our chances would just be an upgrade on the last time.
End of stream, boys. We found it.
Jesus Christ. I mean, again, if we play like we did against Forest and create chances like we did against Forest, all we need to do is just step up the finishing, even a little bit, and you end up with at least 2 goals. Like, it's not rocket science. It's just Forest, if they can score a couple against Leipzig, you can then go and say Forest was just a blip. It was just an anomaly. It happens sometimes. Again, it's not going to be easy. Gvardiol, of course, he's literally come out, was it a few days ago, and said that he has aspirations to play in the Premier League, that he wants to play in the Premier League. Like, he has very high aspirations. He thinks highly of himself. There's a big price tag on his head from Leipzig. We have recent history playing Leipzig. Of course, they've had a few transfers, so have we. But last year, I think we all remember the 6-3, absolutely wild game of football. And they actually beat us. They beat us last year. They beat us 2-1 in their place, albeit it didn't matter too much for us, but they beat us. So it's a team that we're a bit fond of at the moment. But going forward, it is Gvardiol against Haaland. That is the one to watch because Vardiol's got this massive price tag labelled on his head. He had a good World Cup. He's been linked with all the top clubs. Haaland's just come off sending one into space from 6 yards. He'll have a bit of a point to prove. He'll want to quiet people. I mean, we always talk about him laughing after he misses sitters. He'll have a point to prove. He'll want to go out and rectify that and score 1, 2, possibly 3 goals. And he loves this competition. He loves the Champions League. He's a Champions League man. He wants to win it. He wants the heritage, I think is what people call it, of the Champions League. He wants those accolades. So he'll be up for it. That's the one to watch. It's his ringtone. He loves the UCL ball. I mean, there was footage of him coming out to training. He just kind of staring at the UCL ball. He loves his competition, man. He loves it. And that is the battle to watch. It is Gvardiol against Haaland. Of course, we have other players. We have Grealish and most probably Mahrez, but it is Haaland. It is the Haaland watch because this is a Bundesliga club. This is his bread and butter.
Have we got any results on the poll from earlier on, Joe?
We have a 26-minute poll that got 86 votes and a grand total of, once it actually pops up in the chat.
Have we got 86 votes, man? We don't have 86 likes. We've got 65 likes, man. If you haven't smashed the like button, hit the like button.
We've got 86 votes and, would you believe it, 69% say yes. Yes, we can.
Okay, I don't know how to read into that. That's kind of mad, you know. I would have thought if it's a predominant city viewership we have here, everybody would kind of be saying yes. That kind of shows to me 69% saying yes, 30 saying no. That kind of shows to me there's a bit of a cautious feeling amongst the City fans of the Champions League this year, and I'm feeding into it. That's why I'm saying, you know, be strategic. But look, the way I look at it is, tomorrow's game is going to tell us a huge amount about City's season, if you ask me, the way we set up for the whole season and what the objective was for the season, because there's a massive growing part of me believes that at the start of this season, the board sat down with Pep and Pep sat down with the board and maybe with the leaders of the squad and said, listen, we'll give the whole Premier League a good rattle. We'll have a good go, win the Premier League. But our main objective is that fucking Champions League. We want that Champions League. So could we see a City with a whole different energy tomorrow? You know, maybe a level that we haven't seen this season. We've had 2 or 3 performances this season, you know, 6-3 United, the first half against Villa, the Arsenal game to an extent, even though we had low possession, but some games where we looked like a hungry City, you know, like City wanted to cause problems for the opposition. Other than that, we haven't looked like that punishing City. Could we see a punishing City in the Champions League because it's the Champions League? Is the overall objective of the season, yeah, have a go at the Premier League, but win that Champions League. Go for that. Like, just think about it. All these players in our squad, other than the likes of Haaland, Phillips and Gomez and Alvarez, who came in the summer, essentially just gone, they've all had so much misery in the Champions League. Kyle Walker's not getting any younger. De Bruyne is not getting any younger. Gundogan, probably his last season with City, wouldn't he love to go out, being the first ever captain to lift the Champions League for Man City? Vinny couldn't do it. Fernandinho couldn't do it. Aguero couldn't do it. David Silva couldn't do it. Imagine what it would mean to him. You're talking about statues for the likes of De Bruyne and Gundogan and Pep Guardiola, should they achieve this. That's the conversation you're having if they're to win it this season. So the hunger levels should be through the fucking roof tomorrow. Defend at all costs. You know, be yeah, I know, but as the years go by, the hunger, you know yourself, Rebel, the hunger should get more and more as the years go by. It's fine to say that after you knocked out
desperation also gets more and more. The desperation tactics get more and more as it goes on as well. That's the other side.
This is it, man. That's the caveat.
Like, this is a point where some of those players you just named off there, that they're in their 30s and possibly leaving in the summer. This is one of, if not their last chance, depending on at what point they decide to leave or retire. So obviously the hunger is there, but the desperation is there because it's like a ticking time bomb. You don't last in football forever. Like, they don't have endless careers. I mean, look at Fernandinho. He went from should have started a Champions League final to he can't play again this season because he can't keep up with the pace of the game. Like, there is some of those moments where at any point some of these players could genuinely just turn around and not be finished, but almost like Fernandinho, where it's like, you don't really want to see them play. They're probably going to be off because their legs are gone and they can't keep up. Like, it can be just a quick overnight process. We've seen that.
Yeah, I agree. I think tomorrow's going to tell us a huge amount, though. That's what I'm saying. We could see what I'm talking about, whereby the plan and the objective is to go hell for leather for the Champions League. And I hope it is the case. For those of you, let me know in the chat if you've been a subscriber of the channel for a while. Let me know when you subscribe to the channel, and let me know how long you've been watching us and that kind of thing. Because if you have been around for a while, you will know that mainly, my bread and butter has always been, I want that Premier League. I want that Premier League at all costs. Even if we lose the Champions League, I want the Premier League. But this season, I feel a little bit different. I still want the Premier League more, but there's this fire in my belly. I'm like, fuck this shit. Let's go and win that Champions League once and for all. Get that monkey off our back. Stop the likes of Forest and Villa singing Champions of Europe. You'll never see that. Stop that shit. Where, you know, there's levels to this. We're way above you, but they still have that over us. So there's this growing fire that I'm just like, oh, I want to win it now. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of embarrassment. So I don't know. Tomorrow's going to tell us a huge amount. I'm buzzing for tomorrow. A FIFA player, sub to Mancunian Way, says, few weeks I came from City Extra. Big up to you, my friend. I'm big up to City Extra. If you came from City Extra, big up to you. I think we need to shore up our defense. We do that. Sky is the limit with these kids and forwards. I agree, Matt Hatter. Strong defense is, in my opinion, the key to winning the Champions League. If you stop the opposition scoring, that's in knockout football. That's the way to do it. Don't be leaky at the back.
Michael Owen analysis there.
Yes.
If you stop it from going in the goal, you win game.
I'm talking facts
If you want to win, you have to score goals. If you want to win, you can't.
No, but you always find the team that's most defensively solid always seems to prosper. They don't play the prettiest football. I mean, that Chelsea team that won the Champions League, they played ugly football. Terrorist, ugly football, but defensively, you couldn't break them down. You just couldn't, Even Liverpool, Van Dijk in his prime, Matip in his prime, you couldn't break them down. You couldn't get by them. Real Madrid, so defensively solid with the likes of Ramos and even Rudiger last season and all this kind of thing. Like, this is just the way it is. If you're defensively solid, you're going to freak teams out in the Champions League because they're going to go, oh, fuck, time's running out. They're going to get a chance they might score, and we can't fucking break them down. So defense is absolutely key, especially in the away games. But you got to take your chances. I want the three-peat two emojis. Oh, what are you talking about? Three-peats here. Oh, the Premier League. Yeah. Obviously, three-peat would be crazy. We'd be the second team in history to do it. I've been around since I called you the Alex Garcia lookalike cube. That's a long time ago. Says Akash.
Alex Garcia, that's a fucking show.
Wow.
That's a watch along. That's a watch along, I think.
Wow.
Boys, hang on. Alex Garcia. That is such a fucking show.
Yo, I'll take it, man. He's a good-looking guy.
Alex Garcia, Bernardo Silva.
Oh,
if you dye your hair, if you were to dye your hair blonde again,
yeah.
Ali.
I don't know what you mean about again. I don't know what you mean about it.
Is it Ryan Carrick, the Irish TikToker you're the fucking image of?
I'm a better looking version of him. That's what I'm.
Yeah, no, I'll say that. Yeah, I'll give you your props. But
shout out Ryan Carrick though. Ryan Carrick, you're
he's
funny.
the funniest man in Ireland.
Funniest
man in Ireland.
Need a back four, says Alec. We do need a back four. Dano says it's not about beautiful football in the Champions League. It's about getting it done. No matter how, I'm here for terrace football if we win it this year. That's my overall point of the whole stream. If there's one thing you take away from this stream that I have said, it's that I don't care about beautiful football. I don't care about champagne football. I care about results. Champions League, all football, it's results driven. If you don't get the results, you don't get the awards. And we haven't got the awards, so go and get the result. Listen, let's get into our score predictions. We'll stream for another 5 minutes. So get in your thoughts. I'm going to start reading the chat more and we'll respond to what you guys are saying. But get in your score predictions now. Let me know who you think may score a goal. We're going back to the old style. Score prediction and who is going to score for City or Leipzig. If you think there's going to be a Leipzig score that's a cert, let me know. Rebel, may as well start with you.
Fuck. Harfa 1-0. Riyad Mahrez.
1-0 Real. I take that every single day of the week. John Foster.
It'll be in the 60th minute, be in the 60-odd minute, be in between then, and he'll score. And it'll be like, do you remember when we scored against Madrid and we thought everything lifted off the shoulders? It'll be exactly like that. But this time, Nate and Ake is going to say, you know what, mate? Go fuck yourself. It's going to finish 1-0.
All right, I hear you. Abid says, have you texted Grizz? No, I'm not going to text Grizz. I'm going to let him wallow in his pain. I'm going to let him wallow in his pain a bit and see what he's saying on Thursday for the Big Six. I'm not arsed. I'll have a good laugh, but I don't really care. Let him suffer with all this football's a humbler. Football is a humbler. Anfield's a humbler. John says 5-0 Leipzig. You reckon Carsten starts this year? No, not anytime soon. Hence why we need to play Mahrez to lay on the ball and make the match play at City's pace. The three-peat, the people talking about the three-peat in the chat. Sunson says 4-1. I assume you mean City. Dano says 3-0 Grealish hat-trick. 5-0 Rico. A goalkeeper, Alvarez, 2 for Father Ruben and Grealish.
That's 6.
Joe,
that's 6 goals.
the maths isn't maths in here, but listen, go on, Joe.
Nothing. I find it interesting how Revel went for a 1-0, considering that we haven't kept a clean sheet in February. We're almost in March. Like, we are in desperate need of a clean sheet and some defence.
Did you see the back four we're playing? None of them can kick the ball. They can just defend.
Well, that's the back four we're hopefully going to play in it, but we haven't kept a clean sheet in ages, so I'll take one of those. I don't believe a clean sheet. I'm going 2-1 and 2-1 and I'm going to go for Mahrez goal as well. He's usually Mr. Reliable in the Champions League.
Super chat here from Benno MCFC. Big up yourself with the £1.99. Really appreciate that. Genuine, the super chats are absolutely amazing. It makes us feel like we're doing something well. There's no obligation to super chat. just hit the like. It's free to do, but we do really appreciate all of your support of any shape or kind. You know, it's all love. Benno MCFC says, up for tomorrow. Gutta did have the opportunity to be out there. Yeah, I've seen Big Steve and Daps, and I'm jealous. I was in Dortmund, so I've already been to Germany. I was considering going to Leipzig away, but I've been to Germany for an away game this season, and I don't have all the money in the world. If you're a follower for a while, you know I've been to a lot of away games recently. You know, Chelsea, United, Tottenham, Arsenal. The money's too tight, so I'm kind of waiting. If we get through this round and we do draw like a Madrid or someone, I will go to the Bernabeu. But no doubt, all the Blues, I hope you're having a good time and you're all safe and you come home with the win. Big up Benno for the super chat. Fatine says 2-2, Haaland and Mahrez. Mudgee's 2-1, Bree 2-1, Haaland and Gundo. A lot of love for Benno in the chat. Yeah, chat, when someone sends in a super chat, make sure you all show them love because they're keeping the channel going. If someone sends in a super chat, make sure you all give them W's and show them love because it's absolutely huge and massively appreciated. So Joe went with 2-1 and a Mahrez goal. Now, I'm going to go with a 1-0. And I have two options here as to who I think might score. And I'm not sure who
say the line, Murray. Say the line.
Fuck me.
I
have two options as to who I might score.
I was wondering where he was taking him off the wall.
Am I going to go with a Haaland goal or am I going to go with a Grealish goal? What do you think I'm most likely to do?
Say the line, Murray. Please. Say the line.
Right.
Suspense. Need like a drum roll or something.
Just prepare yourself.
I'm about to shock the world. No, I'm going 1-0 Manchester City. And it's going to be an outside of the box curler on his right foot from Jack Grealish. Jackie G&A, baby. Jackie G&A. You already know the driller. Yeah, big up Jack Grealish. Hold tight, Jackie G&A getting all the goals and assists these days. Matt Hatter 4-3. I think you've had like 4 predictions at this stage, Matt Hatter, man. You can't keep changing your mind. But I'm going 1-0, Jack Grealish goal. Lololo for Jack in the chat, please. Send in the fire emojis for Jackie G&A, man. He's carrying us these days, man. He's showing that determination, and he's the boss. He's the boss. Listen, we're going to wrap it up. It's been a great stream. It's always great to talk to all of you live. I'm reading your messages and hitting the likes and subscribing. If you're watching on playback or you haven't done so already, do hit the like button. Genuinely, really, really helps the growth. If you're watching on playback as well, I think I've already said that. Hit the like button, all that good stuff. Listen, thank you all for coming in. We're hoping for a win. We will be back maybe on Thursday night. I know the Big Six at 10:30 Thursday night, so we may go live at about 9. So turn on the notification bell so you don't miss when we do go live or I upload a video. I have a video up on the channel from a couple of hours ago about Neymar, and he's linked to Manchester City. Go back and watch that. Leave a like on that if you want to see my thoughts and what the reports are suggesting. Neymar to City is a possibility. If you have any belief that could happen, go back and check that. Listen, big up to all of you. Big up to all of you. Come on, Fitzy. Bring it home and let's win this competition. Big Ears has to finally come home. Wrap her up, Joe.
Listen to your heart. Tell me who you want to be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart. Tell me that you understand. 'Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, 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 believe. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart. Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart. Tell me that you understand. 'Cause you are the one for me. Just believe. You just believe. You just believe. You just believe. Listen to your heart. 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 Tell me who you wanna be.